Hello and welcome to This Naked Chat, a podcast where six friends from different walks of life come together for honest, unscripted conversations about living alcohol-free and everything that comes with it. We all met at a live event hosted by Annie Grace of This Naked Mind in March of 2024. What started as a mastermind group with the six of us and Annie turned into some really deep friendships, filled with connection, tough conversations, and a lot of laughter. And after a year of growing and learning together, we realized that these conversations might help more than just us. So here we are, no scripts, just real talk. We are incredibly grateful to Annie and This Naked Mind for helping us get this off the ground and for the impact that her work has had on each of our lives. I am Brian, and I am joined by Kori, Agnes, Judi, Jenie, and Sammie. Let's dive in.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We got
Hello.
Jenie, Agnes, Judi, Brian today. And the topic we are going to talk about, this seems fairly general. When does the mindset shift happen? Was the question. We'll just have to define what that mindset shift means, I guess, to you all.
Well, what's mindset, right? What's mindset?
Yeah, and I mean, specifically around maybe alcohol, you think? To me, it's almost like, when does this get easier? I don't know if that's right. What's it mean to any of you all?
I guess for me, it would be about when there's an understanding of something. If I have a different understanding, so whatever, again, my mindset is whatever belief or thought or anything that I have, I'm fixated on it. This is what it is. And then if there becomes, if I have self-awareness and curiosity, and I actually explore whatever it is that whatever that belief may be. And then from that point, whatever surfaces and comes up, if there's an understanding to it, well, then I may alter that actual belief to begin with, which to me becomes a mindset shift, because I was so fixated, so determined on this is how it is. And now all of a sudden I see a different light, a different perspective, different understanding. And now I'm able to see it differently. So that is a total shift for me.
Yeah. And I'd say here for the how, it says how, when. That when is going to be dependent on everyone individually. I think then maybe like what you were getting at seems like that how. And to me, the first thing that popped into mind there was that like asleep to alive wheel, right? Of like, and it's kind of what you're saying is like to move through those different phases. The very first part is you just need to be like, all right, something's not right here, right? You just need to be aware. Well, first when you're asleep and you're not, you're like, everything's fine. There's nothing to see here. Once you move to that awareness and you're like, okay, I kind of want to change something now. I mean, that's the first step in that, to me, in this, like that mindset shift happening. And then it seemed like for me, it was the more and more I could say this deep held belief that I had, similar to what you're saying there, Agnes, is like, once I finally ask, is that true? And then prove that it wasn't, to me, that kind of started moving me over there. Right. I was like, oh, I don't need it to whatever, talk to people or, have fun or all those things that I used to think that I needed alcohol for. Once I kind of proved to myself, oh yeah, that was kind of a story I had made up. That was where I started to move over into the new kind of areas.
Well, and given that, if we look at it, we go from the negative to the positive, right? So that we're saying, whoa, this is where I am. I'm starting to understand. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. Well, then we want to grow, but we don't know how to grow. But then we start changing our perspectives. And then we think about it as, well, to me, a big mindset shift. I'm afraid I'm going to say potty mouth here. Uh-huh. The mindset shift to me is like looking at something and saying, oh, I can't have this anymore. I can't have this anymore. And so you're constantly in the negative. Whereas you can flip your brain in working on, well, but look what I'm gaining, look what I'm gaining, look what I'm gaining. Then pretty soon your mindset is, oh, I'm going to do this because here's the goal, rather than I'm deprivation, if that makes sense.
Really good point. Yeah, because it almost like you have to start out because you don't know the positive feelings maybe. So like to get started, it seems like maybe you do start in a little negative one.
Well, I know every time I try to stop sugar, it's like, oh, I can't have sugar. I can't have sugar. Rather than say, oh, Judi, look, if you understand what sugar's doing to your body, look at how much better your body will be, but how much better you feel. Just try it. Try it and see what happens.
Yeah, there's like some hope in there. Yeah. Like it's going to change. And until you can start to see, I was thinking about because you do start to feel the physical effects or you start to feel better at some point, but it's down the road a little. So like you have to have something like you're saying to get through those first, whatever they are, however long it takes. Yeah, good point.
To get out of the deprivation mode.
Yeah.
I think the deprivation mode keeps us stuck. Oh, I can't have wine with dinner.
Yeah.
I think an image that for me describes or illustrates a mindset shift is going from running away from something to running toward something. That's the image that makes mindset shifts more concrete for me, for what that's worth.
So you mean running towards like a positive? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Similar to what you're. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I know in my situation, I don't know that this applies to everyone, but it was just kind of like, I know this isn't what I want. What I have now is not necessarily what I want. So that is kind of the negative part. And I don't know what the other side looks like, but I know I don't want this. So I'm going to go towards this unknown. And maybe that's where that uncomfort lives, right? I've said this before, I'm sitting in some of this right now, but like you almost get stuck sitting in the uncomfortable or it might be bad, but you know it, so you've become almost comfortable with this kind of way of life. And even though it's not serving you, you don't want to change it because you know it. And so I think what you are alluding to, to me is like, you just have to have some faith that other side is better than this. And you understand that you don't like this. So you got to try something different. Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to it's a fixation on some form of belief, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Right? And if you could get curious about it, then that's where the possibility of change, the hope for change can enter. And that can be, then something else can be done. And then you're switching that belief around. So now you've done a mindset shift.
Yeah. Because
now what the original belief was, it isn't. And that could go for anything, right? It could go for how you load your dishwasher. You have it set a specific way, and that's how it is. That's your belief that it has to be this way. And then, you try it differently, experience it differently.
This episode is sponsored by This Naked Mind, a revolutionary approach to changing your relationship with alcohol. When it comes to your drinking, you don't have to hit rock bottom to want something different, and you don't have to do it alone. This Naked Mind blends neuroscience, psychology, and self-compassion to help you stop relying on willpower and start creating real, lasting change. No shame, no labels, and no rules. Whether you want to take a break, drink less, or stop drinking for good, This Naked Mind has a program that meets you where you are, with world-class coaching and a compassionate, judgment-free community to support you every step of the way. Learn more about This Naked Mind at thisnakedmind.com.
Do you guys have any examples from your own kind of story on when you felt this, like when you noticed this shift?
It can happen though with many things, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to just be alcohol.
Right.
It can be.
For me, it happens daily.
Yeah.
Because I question everything. So I immediately, if something is not feeling right in my body again, so I just feel like, oh, something's off, or I said something, or someone said something or did something, and it's like, oh, that's off. Then that's where I start going through the series of questions. Whereas before, I would just let it play itself out. Where it's now, it's like, oh, okay, where is that coming from? And again, does it need to be addressed? Does it not need to be addressed? So it's constantly, for me, it's just constantly paying attention to my thoughts, to my mind, really. And then I'm making those switches if it's not serving me anymore, which is a different thing, because sometimes it serves us, which is okay as well.
I'm trying to think of, like, I see this for me, and I don't know if this is a mindset one, but like sometimes I will wind up in sort of an old pattern. And for me, this is like, recently, honestly, what this has been is if I catch myself sitting and doing crossword puzzles on my phone for hours on end, I'm distracted from doing something else. There's something, I have not figured this out. This is what I'm actually currently working on. But there's something that's that I don't want to do, or I'm uncomfortable doing. So I find myself in an old pattern of kind of a distraction. You know, that's when I know for me that I don't know. Kind of to your point, that I need to sit with that and figure out what am I doing? What am I kind of maybe avoiding?
Yeah, that resistance.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I could go on about that, but because it's a current one.
Or it's just a matter of sitting. I mean, yeah, you're distracting yourself, but is it a matter of safety? Is it a matter of emotional safety that I don't feel safe moving forward from this right now, but I'm working my brain, I'm distracting myself. I mean, it's a healthy, I'm not saying it's a healthier distraction than what we used to do with booze, right?
That's a great one, Judi. Yeah, good point.
But it's a safety thing, right? Our resistance, a lot of what we resist is because internally we don't feel safe. And so that's a great place to explore. Yeah. All right, why don't I feel safe? What is it that, what is deep in the recesses of my head that is keeping me feeling, oh, this is not a safe place for me to venture to, or I just don't dare make this step because of, and it could just be old tapes that we haven't recognized in years doing that. And we don't have to have huge trauma in our history, but most of us who have struggled with addiction have some kind of trauma. And everybody, it's all perspective on trauma, big T, little t, doesn't matter. Trauma is trauma. So sometimes it's just our subconscious saying, you know what, Brian, go do a crossword puzzle because this is scary right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
You know, what you said there was so beautiful too, is like that's giving yourself a little grace on it. Being like, so what? Maybe you need to do a crossword. I love that from,
I mean, that's
like
when
not
you can
beating yourself up about like,
right.
Yeah, something is scary. I'll sit with that, but I also will allow myself to feel safe.
Because resistance doesn't go away with pushing, right? When we're working with clients and we're working, if they're feeling resistant, if we push them, what's going to happen? They're out.
Yeah.
Again, who questions their mindset, right? Because if you question it, then what you discover may be, oh, I'm not happy that I've done this or believed in this and how it's impacted things, which then again does not feel good. So it's a lot easier just to continue going with whatever beliefs you had to begin with and not even explore them. It's safer because then there's no opportunity for you to feel bad or feel any negative things about it, because any good feeling beliefs, you would never question. It's always the negative ones that can make you feel even worse.
I have this philosophy that our subconscious is created to keep us safe, right? No matter what anything is, our subconscious is created to keep us safe. And if 95% of our behavior is directed by our subconscious, that means that if we're sitting doing a crossword puzzle, it's like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm supposed to be safe. I'm not sure why yet. But I also, anybody I've ever worked with, it's like when because the subconscious is to keep us safe, when it's safe, things will happen. I mean, I don't know about you, but anybody that's been in therapy, when you're in therapy, you can beat your head against a rock for years and nothing happens. There's no movement. And then if you just say, all right, well, and then all of a sudden, boom, this great big thing comes from somewhere. That's when you realize, like, wow, all right, my subconscious realizes it's safe for me now to venture into this little snippet of my life.
Yeah.
That's how I've
like
always
that.
worked with people that way. So I don't know.
There seems to be some line, and I don't know if I just picked this up from the internet it's almost the story that I tell myself is like, if I'm not actively pursuing something, then I'm scared of something. You know what I mean there? Like,
well, yeah.
Like sometimes it'll be like, we'll just keep using the crossword puzzle example, but like, you know, if I find myself doing that days on end, it's like, yes, you're safe here, but my head will sometimes tell me that and it's funny, we were just reading something about the should, like you should be doing something, you know, to, you know, find what's next for you or pursue something grand.
Who said?
That's what my head always tells me, you know, it's like, okay. And that's why I love what you just said about that. It's like, no, maybe.
I mean, I could look at you and say,
sit in safety a little bit more.
Right, but I could look at you and say, Brian, you should be doing this. Why are you sitting there doing crossword puzzles? Why, Brian? You're not going to get anywhere that way.
Exactly.
I could yammer on you like crazy. Is that going to help you?
Right.
No. So why do it to yourself?
Yeah, that's what I do it to myself. That's what, interestingly enough.
That makes me stuck, that kind of behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I like your example there.
That's all I got to say about it.
You're done? You got that? You polished that one up?
I'm done. My subconscious says we're good now.
Yeah. Anyone else? Good on that one?
Yeah, I think
solved
we're good.
it. Good work.
We did.
Well, we'll see you all next time.
Next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something we said resonated, made you laugh, or made you think, we'd love it if you share it with someone who might need it too. And if you're curious about going alcohol-free or just ready to feel more connected to yourself, check out This Naked Mind. Annie's work brought us all together, and we're so grateful for the impact it's had. On that note, a big thank you to Annie Grace and This Naked Mind for making this podcast possible. We'll see you next time on This Naked Chat.